Hey, you are watching the Half Asian Tarot Queen. I am Melissa, and I'm doing a reading. It's the full moon in Virgo. So it's kind of interesting because I actually am a Virgo, and the full moon is falling on my birthday, which I'm filming this on the 9th, and it's like the 9th, 10th, and my birthday is tomorrow. So it's kind of wild. My roommate in college, her birthday was on the 9th, and we used to always have these crazy parties on our mutual birthdays. But yeah, I I'm getting for this sort of moment in time, which I might feel especially tuned into, is a momentous change is happening, and I've been kind of getting that leading up to this, but we're just gonna keep going. Okay, yeah. So when I did the split, we got Justice and we got Knight of Wands. So there's like a bold move, this bold move that's happening, and it's kind of bringing in justice. So when I pull down Justice, we get Two of Wands. Oh my gosh, Seven of Swords, the Devil, Nine of Cups. Wow, Queen of Swords, and the Three of Swords. So what I'm getting is there's a turning point in some sort of situation that's being brought to justice. There's some sort of there's like this really toxic energy, this lying, cheating, thieving, energy. And then we also have this heartbreaking situation that someone's having to draw boundaries around. So it's almost like in order to get their wish, someone's going to have to draw boundaries around this super toxic situation, and that is going to be bringing injustice and like a turning point. So that's interesting. Then when I pulled down the Knight of Wands, we got the Knight of Cups, we got the Three of Wands, we got the Six of Cups, Knight of Pentacles. So that's like three knights that we've gotten so far. Nine of Swords, King of Swords, Ace of Swords, the Truth, and the World. So it's like, again, it's like a momentous change. I don't know if I already said that, but I'm getting that, like a momentous change. Like this truth is coming out. It's a harsh truth. It's ushering in this change. And, we have these two knights, like this passion, this love, this opportunity, this bold move forward, sort of manifesting this soulmate connection and allowing this movement forward. But there's a lot of anxiety about this change because it looks like it's going to be like a big change, and whatever this truth is that's coming out, like it might not be good for everyone. We have this like stalker energy underneath that. So it's sort of like, okay, so something that's going on in the world right now is like, so Queen Elizabeth just passed away yesterday. So there's this big momentous change that's happening in England, and it's like a change that's bigger than anything that we've known in our lifetimes. Queen Elizabeth has been reigning for like 70 years, so it's just like this huge turning point, and there's been this fracture in the royal family, and like I saw this image of like Harry, and he was like totally broken up, because it was just sort of like, it's almost like Queen Elizabeth was his like last link to the royal family, because he still had like a connection with her, but like he was really on the outs with his dad and his brother, who are like coming into power. So it's sort of like almost like a severing of that old family structure. His mom is gone, you know, his grandmother is gone. Like, it's never going to be the same again, you know. So something on that order of magnitude. And then when I pull this down, actually I'm going to split it. Okay, wow. So we got lightning and we got the smoky mirror. So this speaks to like having a distortion. You know, like oftentimes when there has been like some deception, you know, people like cover that up, but it like distorts their perception of reality. So when these things come to light, it can cause like a massive shakedown. Yeah, this is crazy, because when I pulled down lightning, we got the crow, which is the truth. So the truth is coming to light. Karma is happening. This distortion is being known. And it's like healing some sort of cycle. Someone is sort of like elevating themselves above whatever this situation is. You know, like Charles is ascending to the throne, you know, is one example. But justice is being served. However, this is like a momentous change. Things are never going to be the same again. Whatever this toxic thing is, it's going away. So really, really, really interesting, but also like dramatic. Okay, when I pulled out, oh my gosh, the light seers. So I got the Ace of Pentacles and I got the Moon. And this is really interesting because this moon was really prominent in the reading that I just did, which I'll post up here. I think it was called, what was it called? Legend of the Sword. It was all about like King Arthur. So it was really interesting because who knew that Queen Elizabeth was going to pass away? But then the last reading I did was all about King Arthur and how he ascended to the throne. So it's really weird. But we have this Ace of Pentacles. So this opportunity that's coming online, someone is manifesting it. And after some sort of period of reflection, like they've really taken a time out and I've been working on manifesting this opportunity, which is coming online. Then on this side we have the Moon, the Sun, Heartbreak, the King of Cups, and the Devil. So this is really interesting because it's like this devil, it's like the devil is like drowning, you know. This is the second devil we've gotten in this. It's like the devil is like, it's like this person, I never noticed this, is like all riddled with anxiety, and they've got these strings to this devil who's like being sucked into this vortex, you know. And then we also have this King of Cups, and like to me, like I get this, you know, this person is radiating out from their heart, you know, like they've done all this work on themselves to like heal their vibration. Like that's kind of what I always get from this specific card. So it's like we've got this really toxic person and this person who's like really done a lot of work to sort of like heal their vibration. And it's gonna be this heartbreaking momentous change that's happening. But it's almost like whoever it is that's like done all this work to heal their vibration, it's like they're shining so brightly that the like it can't be hidden. It's like it's under the moon, but it's just sort of like this, it's coming out, you know, like you can't, it's the brightest card in the deck, like you can't hide it, like even though it's like been trying to be suppressed, it's coming out. So it's really, really interesting. I mean, there's obviously all this change that's happening in the royal family, and there's obviously been all this toxic stuff, and it's really weird because, like, you know, like Harry, it's like you wonder, like, what's going to happen to him, and he, like, left the royal family and, like, went out on his own, And in a way, it's like he's sort of like severing ties with that part of his past, because he doesn't have a close connection with anyone anymore. You know, all the people that he was connected to have kind of passed away. But then, you know, it's like maybe this new start that he's getting is going to be really a lot better for him. You know, obviously if he was in power, it would be a different situation, but you know, for him it was probably the best thing. It's probably toxic for him to like be under the thumb of the royal family. Okay. All right. So when I went to the Queen of the Moon Oracle, since it is a full moon, it's interesting. So we got acceptance, and it's like, again, it's like these two hands and they're like separating, you know, like there's this whole galaxy in between them, you know, but there's this inspiration, and it's almost like this parting of ways, but there's like a certain peace about it, you know, because there's all these doves. And then we have resistance, you know, and so it's like, but there's all this growth coming in through the cracks, you know. So it's like almost like for example with Harry, like he had to leave this sort of like toxic for him situation so that he could grow and develop, you know. And that's kind of what I'm getting from this. It's just like by resisting that destiny, he was able to grow, you know, and just accepting that he might have a different path. This new path is emerging. And I heard on the news today too, they were talking about how they're gonna pare down the royal family, and it wasn't gonna be as big anymore because they're just gonna scale it back, and that actually might be good, you know, because you know, they got to have the king and, you know, the next in line, but then all the other people, it's like, look what happened to Prince Andrew. It's just like, if you don't have a purpose, like that's what causes people to get, you know, super toxic in life. So it's almost like we're just like cutting the cord on all these distortions. We're cutting off the slough, you know, this momentous change, and everyone worldwide is having to do this because we're really having to like streamline all this stuff that's not really working out, and like get back to the basics to make room for, you know, what's coming, because the world is changing, and it's not like small changes, and like we don't really have the luxury of having any slop in the system. So it's like we have to like strip things down to the basics, and like everything that's kind of like top heavy and like not super functional is gonna just get the axe, you know. And that's kind of I think part of what this momentous change that we're ushering in. And it's like this is sort of this turning point where we're like kind of going from one era to the next. So in honor of what's going on with the Queen and God Save the Queen, I'm going to use this Law of Attraction deck, which I actually happened to get when I went to London, and I went there for work, and I was staying in Westminster, so like it was right in that neighborhood where Buckingham Palace and everything was, and that's where I got this deck. So yeah. Oh my gosh, the card that fell out. This is so funny. Look at that. It's like this king. It says, I can focus specifically upon what I want. And on the back it says, you are bombarded by thought stimulation, and so unless you give your attention to what you specifically want, you can be influenced by that which surrounds you. Unless you are focusing on what is important to you, you can be stimulated by others' thoughts, which may or may not be important to you. Wow, that is so wild, because this thing totally popped out, and I was just talking about how we had to cut all the slop out of the system to usher in the new era. So I think that's a lot of it. It's just like focusing on what we are wanting to bring into the future and not focusing on, you know, what everybody else expects of us, you know, because there's not really, we don't have the luxury of doing that anymore because times are super tough. And then this was at the top of the deck. The thoughts I think today are preparing my future. Every thought that you think is directed toward what you want for the future. Every thought that you think is directed toward what you want for your future is of great benefit to you. Every thought that you are thinking about your future that you do not want is a disadvantage to you. Whether thinking of vitality and health or decline in disease, you are preparing your future. Wow, that is so crazy. That is totally what I was saying. It's like, it's time to like streamline. We got to really drill down on what we're trying to bring into the future, because there just isn't really any room for anything else, you know? And so it's like that means we might have to cut the cord on some situations that might be toxic to us. As heartbreaking as that may be, you know, nobody really has the luxury of having that kind of dysfunction. And that's part of what this momentous change is, you know? It's like we have to move forward, and it has to be leaner and meaner and more functional. And that's, I think, the foundation for this change that we're all kind of going through. So yeah, it's pretty interesting reading. It's really crazy how I've been getting all these messages from like the history of like British monarchy in the last two readings. So I don't know what that's about, but that's where we are. So I'm gonna leave it there today, and yeah, it's I guess for the new era, it's God Save the King.